A bell rings and the classroom settles. Chalk moves across the board. A teacher turns to speak. In the third row, a girl lifts her hand, then freezes. Her mouth opens, but no words come out. Instead, she laughs. Soft at first, then sharper. Her eyes widen as if she is not in control of her own voice. Her chair scrapes backward. She stands without meaning to. Her laughter gets louder. Her face flushes. Another girl across the room starts laughing too. A boy presses his hands to his ears. The first girl begins to move, her feet dragging across the floor like the ground is pulling her. Left, right, faster. The teacher calls her name. The girl does not answer. A desk tips over with a crash. A scream cuts through the room, then another. The teacher reaches out, but the moment her hand touches the girl, she jerks back in shock, as if she felt electricity under her skin. Within minutes, the hallway fills with noise. Doors fly open. Students spill out. Some are laughing, but their laughter sounds wrong. Some are crying, but their eyes are empty. One girl runs in circles until she collapses. Another claws at her own throat as if trying to pull something out. A third dances in frantic steps, spinning so fast her shoes slap against the floor like drum beats. By the time parents arrive, the school looks like a battlefield. Girls are lying on the floor of the assembly hall. Others press themselves against the walls, staring at things no one else can see. A nurse kneels beside a student who won't stop shaking. Someone yells for an ambulance, but the sound is swallowed in the chaos. A girl in the corner whispers that the air tastes like metal. Another says she smells flowers. Jasmine, sweet and heavy. One girl points at the doorway and screams, but no one is there. This was not the first time, and it was not the last. In the years that followed, the same scene unfolded again and again across Japan. A quiet classroom. A normal day. Then one girl laughs, another collapses, another begins to dance without music. At first, it happened in a coastal town, then high in the mountains, then in private academies and public schools, in summer heat, in winter cold, no warning, no pattern, just madness. It never stayed in one place. It moved like a rumor with a mind of its own. One school in the morning, another that night, another the next day. A line of ambulances outside a building that should have held nothing but books and desks. Teachers holding students down so they would not hurt themselves. Parents arriving to find their daughters laughing hysterically or sobbing in silence or staring at nothing as if something inside them had gone missing. Why mostly girls? Why so many at once? Why did the first outbreak leave and then return somewhere new like it was following a map no one else could see? Doctors arrived with clipboards and stethoscopes. They checked pulses, counted breaths, measured blood pressure. They saw the convulsions, the fainting, the vacant eyes. They wrote down every symptom carefully. They interviewed each girl after the episode ended. What did you feel? Some said their bodies felt heavy, as if pinned to the floor. Some said they felt hands on their back, pushing. Some said they tasted metal before the laughter started. Others heard buzzing in their ears like insects under the skin. A few said they saw faces in the corners of the room, faces that did not belong to anyone living. The doctors did not write that part down. When the tests came back normal, the experts chose a name: mass psychogenic illness. In simpler words, hysteria. The mind playing tricks. Fear spreading like disease. Nothing supernatural, nothing toxic, just stress. Case closed. Except the cases kept coming. Different towns, different years. Same symptoms, same screams, same laughter that sounded like joy until you realized it was pain. The episodes could last minutes or hours. In one school, girls danced until their feet bled. In another, they crawled across the floor like animals. In one, they howled. In another, they sang in voices that did not sound like their own. Teachers locked the doors to keep it from spreading. It spread anyway. Parents kept their daughters home. It still found them later. The government grew nervous. Officials issued statements. There is nothing to fear. It is only stress. They ordered newspapers to stop printing the stories. But students kept collapsing. Doctors kept failing to explain it. And then something happened that no one could ignore. One witness finally told the truth. She said, "It did not feel like stress." She said, "It felt like something entered the room." She said, "And it wanted us." A city inspector arrived with a meter in his hand and a promise in his mouth. He tested the water. He tested the air. He scraped paint into a vial. He followed pipes through the basement and traced wires along the ceiling. The numbers were normal. The charts were clean. He stamped a line on a form and said there was no poison here. The smell was still in the room. Jasmine in one corner, ozone near the door, a taste of pennies on the tongue, a pressure in the chest that felt like weather arriving inside the body. The inspector left. The smell stayed. Another outbreak began 3 towns away. It started during morning exercises. A girl raised her hand and could not lower it. Another giggled until she cried. Another began to shout at someone who was not there. By noon, the gym was lined with blankets. By evening, the corridors were quiet, not because the fear was gone, but because everyone was too tired to make a sound. A committee filed a longer memo. It said teenage girls are more social and therefore more vulnerable to shared distress. It advised quiet rooms, limited reporting, swift return to routine. Order as medicine. Calm voices. No cameras, no interviews. Do not feed the story. But the story was already too large to starve. Witnesses in different towns described the same details like a chorus that had never met. The heavy air, the bright metallic taste, the floral sweetness where no flowers grew, the sense of being watched from the doorway, the urge to laugh without wanting to laugh at all. Parents searched for answers in every direction. Some took their daughters to doctors, some to priests, some to elders who folded papers with inked words and tucked them into pockets. Some mothers washed uniforms and hung them outside for 3 days. Some fathers told their children not to speak the name of what frightened them. To speak a thing is to invite it. A teacher kept private notes. She wrote that her students did not look her in the eye during the worst hour. They looked just past her shoulder to the upper corner of the room. She wrote that one girl called out a name that belonged to no one in the class and then pressed both hands to her mouth as if she feared what would come out next. A doctor with clean pens said the mind can make the body do anything and that a crowd can make the mind do it faster. He said no toxin touches 100 bodies and leaves no trace. He trusted his numbers more than whispers. He said, superstition wants a demon where there is only fear. A priest with tired eyes said fear is one of the names a visitor uses when it does not want to be recognized. He said laughter can be a scream wearing a mask. He said words older than the schoolhouse might still be useful when something enjoys moving among children. The outbreaks paused, then returned. A sports day ended early when a girl fainted while smiling at nothing. A winter assembly shattered when the first student began to dance without music. A graduation rehearsal collapsed into chaos when 4 girls ran in circles and a 5th climbed onto a chair and sang one line of a song she did not know and then fell silent. A reporter spoke to survivors after the shaking stopped. They said their fingers felt far away from their hands. They said the room tilted like a ship. They said laughter felt safer than vomiting in front of everyone. One said she felt something step into the doorway, and she knew it was there even when she could not see it. Numbers piled up. Cases, schools, lost days. The total crossed from dozens to hundreds, and then to a count that began with 9. The files captured digits. They did not capture the sound of shoes on wood, or the look in a teacher's eyes when a room she knew by heart became strange. In some schools, the silence returned as if a switch had been flipped. In others, a residue lingered. A new class paused on the threshold without knowing why. A teacher rested her hand on the door frame before entering every morning. She said it felt polite. Theories spread like the episodes themselves. A drifting chemical from a factory, a pesticide in the water, a prank with perfume that outran its makers, the body making poison out of stress, a generation of girls carrying weights the culture refused to see. The oldest theory never wrote itself down. It lived in grandmothers who told mothers to keep a folded line of ink in a pocket and to avoid speaking certain stories after dark. What did the girls remember? The rush, the emptiness, the ocean of other voices in the hall, waking on a bench with a cup at their lips and a classmate rubbing their shoulder. Some remembered nothing and were grateful for the blank. Time moved on. Papers yellowed. Floors were replaced. Lights were modernized. A room forgets in one way. A hinge remembers in another. If you stand in one of those rooms today after the last bell, you can say you hear only the building settling. You can also say you hear a laugh that is not a laugh at all. What do we do with this? We draw a box around it and write a clinical name. We point to the test results and say there was no poison. We point to the absence of footprints and say there was no visitor. We tell ourselves that a label is a lock and a lock is a cure. There is another path. Sit with the witnesses. Hold their details until they cool in your hands. The jasmine when there were no flowers. The metallic taste before the first laugh. The sudden weight in the room. The eyes that looked toward the corner. This was not the only time a crowd moved like one mind. There were other years and other countries. A laughing sickness. A biting sickness. A convent that meowed. A village that danced until feet bled 500 years ago. Different names, same chill. If you want a neat ending, there is not one. The outbreaks slowed. They stopped. No single discovery closed the book. No single confession opened it. The storm ran out of sky. The fever broke. What remains are the images that no file can hold. A line of shoes on a polished floor with their owners lying a few feet away. A teacher who kept folded cloths in a drawer for 3 more years than she needed to. A mother who smelled jasmine whenever she thought of a certain Tuesday. A story most people have never heard. A question that has not become smaller with time. In the end, you decide what this was. You can choose the comfort of a word that promises it will not happen again. Or you can sit with the witnesses and let their details stand where numbers cannot. The metallic taste, the sweet scent, the pressure in the chest, the feeling that a room grew heavy because something arrived that does not use doors. If you felt a chill just now, you are not alone. There are more moments like this hidden in plain sight. A city that exploded without a bomb. A morgue that became a Sunday attraction. A lighthouse where 3 men vanished and left dinner on the table. If you want to go there, make sure you are here when the next door opens. Until next time, listen when a room goes quiet. Watch the corners. Trust the hairs on your arms when they rise for no reason. Sleep with one eye open. If you felt even one chill during this story, remember this. This was not the only time humanity lost control. There are more moments like this buried in history. Moments when entire schools went mad. When officials smoothed the edges of the truth. When the line between reality and nightmare disappeared. And I am going to uncover them. So if you never want to miss the next time humanity went insane, tap subscribe right now and turn on the bell. Do it now, so you are here when the next door opens. On Silent Shadows of History, we go where textbooks refuse to go. We open the doors others keep locked, and we bring the darkness back to light. Subscribe if you are not afraid of what you will learn.